Charlie Crockett. His word says, he says, I have done many things and I've made compromises in many areas. He says, but I don't have to apologize for this.
Right.
Charlie Crockett was going out on a tour. He's a country singer. And there was a group that they had wanted to open his show and wanted to play with him. And this concert was at the Hollywood concert. And the thing is, it's called a group called Twin Temples. Have you heard about Twin Temples? Mm-hmm. Twin Temples is a satanic doo-wop country group.
I have actually.
One of their songs, one of their best songs is Lucifer My Love. One of their songs is good popular songs is Burn Your Bible. Their newest album is God Is Dead. And all these people are now threatening to cancel Charlie Crockett. They're attacking him because he looked at the imagery and he says, no, this is not what I stand for. This is not going to happen. And so now there's this whole thing. And it is these people who are rising up against these people who are Satanists. The other day I heard my grandson, Blade, come through the house and he was singing Mary on a Cross. And the thing is that the first time I heard of this group called Ghost, I asked my friends, I was like, because they are not Christians, and I asked them, I said, well, what is this group called Ghost? He says, they are Scooby-Doo Satanists. I was like, Scooby-Doo Satanists? He said, yeah, he says the kids are really into them. They're just really not Satanists, but the kids are really into them. And the thing is that Mary on the Cross is one of the songs that Ghost sings. And they are outright Satanists. But they use this imagery that Satan isn't all that bad. Again, deceptions. I'm building a case. There is and has been this movement for a long time. Because has anybody ever heard of what gateway drugs are? Gateway drugs are little things that get you started into the bigger things. And the more that you open yourself up to this imagery, the more that this imagery is put in front of you, the more damage that it does. You start walking through and singing the lyrics of Mary on a Cross. The thing is that when you start going through these songs and you're singing these songs, Dory, in your mind, you're burning an imagery. And a lot of these things and a lot of these songs, I love the hair. A lot of these imageries and a lot of these songs, they are incantations. They are vows that you're singing over and over and over in your mind. It's just like the imagery of the song, Lucifer My Love. That's their number one song. They have over 22,000 fans right now, this little video group. Imagine the imagery of singing a song, Burn Your Bible. You know, the thing is that there is a real thing that is happening. And I asked my grandson, I said, Blake, why do you know this song? He said, well, I've seen it on YouTube. And it's funny because YouTube and all of these platforms have been this gateway. Somebody go to Matthew 24, verse 42 through 43. Now, I told you he will gather his forces. But how did it happen? How did we lose? How did we lose? So somebody read 24, 42 through 43.
Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known and would watch the thief would come, he would have watched and you even not have suffered his house is broken up. Therefore be also ye ready, for in such an hour as you think not the Son of Man cometh.
So, basically what he said, that the reason why the evil has come into your home, because you ain't been watching. You've not been watching over your home. The good man has not, because the good man, there's another verse that says it, that the good man is bound up. The good man is so wrapped up, the strong man is so wrapped up in his own world and his own sin, that his family is being torn apart from him because he don't even see it. He's not even aware. Somebody, you go back to Revelation 16, I didn't understand this thing until just a while ago. Go back to 15, verse 15. If you got it already, you can read it again.
Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, and they shall see his shame.
What he's talking about is blessed is he who is watching over his home, his garments, his clothes, Dar. He's talking about you being oblivious to what's going on around you. I had seen this thing in the background stirring around, and I've kind of watched it. All of a sudden, Robert was telling me, he said, Monty, he says, I'm done. He says, I'm done. I said, why? He says, I walk into a public school. He said, there are kids who are little bitty kids, Lance. He says, they cuss me like I have never been cussed by a grown man. And he says it's not the kids' fault because that's what they're hearing at home. The kids are hearing this at home. He says it's the parents' fault. He says something, well, the school should teach them. It is not the school's responsibility to teach your kid. If you want the school to teach your kids, guess what? It will teach your kids, which is why this whole movement of these teachers becoming these things, because that's who is influencing, because the parents are not doing their job. That is a cold-hearted reality. The parents are not doing their job. And so he says, but that ain't the greatest problem we have. And he quoted me a number. He says there are over 100 of these things. Has anybody heard, Action, have you ever heard of the Discord social platform?
Yeah.
You've heard of it, huh? What is it?
It's kind of just like an online platform where millions of people sign up and you can either have your friends join groups of people who like you, but I don't know if that's where you're going with this. So.
I didn't hear you. Your fade. Oh, that's right. You called your teeth. I'm sorry. What did he say?
It's just an online social platform with millions of people.
How many?
Millions.
Millions of people. All right. How about the Telegram?
I've heard of that, but I'm not as much.
Okay. Of course, we know through Roblox and Minecraft. What is the danger in the old days, Dara, when you described your friends, you described somebody you knew, right? Okay? In the old days, they invented this thing called pen pals. And I remember stories about where they would say, I am going to go meet my pen pal. I've talked to this person forever, but I never had a clue who my pen pal. I know their life, I know their story, I know what they've told me. But how often is, Brad, when you go there and you see this person, anybody ever went on a blind date? Yeah, this person describes themselves to you, and then all of a sudden you get there. How often do they look like that description? Very seldomly. The danger of this social media now is, number one, I remember going on, and I shouldn't say this, just looking at a child's social media platform and saying, how old and how old is this guy on her thing? And the thing is that it's what business do grown men have on little girls' platforms?
None.
They don't, unless they're related.
But do you realize the grown men is not the danger? You realize that, don't you? I'm gonna give you some numbers. Now, he told me, Robert Wilcox told me, he says there's over 100 of these. There have been 391 cases this year of sextortations. In other words, where they use threats because of imagery that was sent. And there's been 391 cases in the state of Arkansas this year. Huh?
And they'll have their kids kill themselves.
Oh, I'm getting there. It's up 118%. There's been 5,653 pre-travel, basically where they try to get these little girls and little boys to step away. Hey, let's go meet. It is up, Dar, 490% from last year. There has been 11, basically the suicide threats and the suicides. And it is up 120% of last year. Has anyone ever seen, I tried to print it off, but I couldn't. Has anybody ever seen this action? Do you know what this is?
I did not know what that was.
That is a group, the 764 group. It is a group, and I printed it off, and it's probably printed off back there, but this is the FBI has issued a warning against the 764 group. It is a platform that is being used, and these members utilize Discord, they use Telegram, they use Roblox, and they use Minecraft. What they do, this is what Robert Wilcox told me, he says he's been involved in over 100 cases. What happens is that friends on social media, say like Action's playing a video game. Action, while you're playing a video game, you ever had a conversation with anybody in the background of the video game, or where people would comment or talk to you or something like that? That's how these things work out. Huh?
I think that we're using headphones or something.
Headphones, there's like on YouTube. They create videos, but the real conversation happens within the comments. They have, somebody will say something about it, and all of a sudden you'll start seeing this whole thing go down. What they do, they pick out troubled kids. They befriend troubled kids. They befriend the weak ones, the targets. If you see a kid who's well balanced, it's, kind of everything going good, but all of a sudden you see a kid who's kind of by themselves, whose parents are not functional. Well, why do they want so many friends? Because they want to be liked. They want to be, whatever. Yes. So the thing is that they befriend them. And then they start this process. 764 is so bad, the FBI has issued a warning. There's, I think, over 3,500 active cases right now that the FBI is investigating right now about this 764.
Do they identify themselves? I mean, is that what they're...
That's their back. Oh, yes, they identify themselves, but they're also a part of the group of the Order of Nine Angles, which even gets worse. So, in other words, there is an organized effort that's going on that is targeting kids. Robert Wilcox has told me, he says, Monty, he says, I've been involved in them. And he says, what it is, he says, they go online, they befriend them. They talk to them. They get their trust. Oftentimes, Lance, they will share a vulnerability with somebody else. In other words, they'll say, hey man, my parents are doing this. because they're trying to get the little boys and the little girls to open up to them. And it ends up being part of this 391 cases that happens, because he says what they do, they start convincing these kids, hey, send me a picture of you. Hey, can you show me some more? And before long, they have pictures or videos that they do. Now, they've got a picture or a video of Addison that she took an inappropriate video or an inappropriate picture. And then what happens is this right here, this sextortation. This is how many cases there are in Arkansas this year. And the thing is that now what happens, Dar, is they tell these kids, we know who your parents are. We know who you are. We're going to tell them what you did. We're going to reveal this thing to them all if you don't do this. He says what you'll see, and he says the first clue is they say, we want you to film videos of you torturing animals. And so they have videos of them, Dory, and this is how it starts. They have to do these things to keep these things from happening. If you'll do this, Lance, I'm not going to put this video out. And so they film a video. They'll film them going out there, Addison, and killing, say like Brownie. Usually they'll kill a stranger's pet, and then all of a sudden they'll make them kill their own pet. So actually they go in and they use these social platforms. How many people do you have on your social platform that you know nothing about other than they're your friends? Think about that. And see, here's the problem. We as parents don't know. Or we'll say, well, I know them. Do you know how many percentages of child molestation happens by people that are family members and are known?
A lot.
That's the greatest number. The least number is strangers. The greatest number is friends and family. There's your threat. So all of a sudden we've got our kids unsupervised because it tells us we didn't wash our homes. We're just letting our kids go up there and search these things. And so our kids, Anthony's age, are being single because he doesn't fit the mold. And so they manipulate Anthony. Hey, AJ, how easy would it be to target your son? And you don't even know it. The thing is that you can tell the kids who are targets. And so what they do, the next thing you know, he says they'll have them go up there and they'll set their dogs on fire. And this is what Robert was telling me that he's encountered in schools. And I'm sitting there listening to this stuff. I'm like, I don't want to hear this stuff. I don't want to think about this stuff because I would rather not think about it. And so what happened is that I'm sitting there listening to him. And he says, then after they've done all that and they got the videos of them doing this now, they're saying, hey, look, now we're going to turn you in. The next thing is that the kids commit suicide. Or they'll commit and they'll start cutting. And the FBI has issued a warning about how to start watching for this imagery. Start watching for the things that are clues. One of the signs is that you'll start seeing either cuts or strange bruises on the kids. That's one of the signs. And these kids manipulate these other kids. And Robert said because the kids do not process emotions like we process emotions. They're so afraid of being turned in to their parents, of getting in trouble. Think about it. Child molesters, they'll tell you, if you tell your parents, you're going to be in trouble. So kids don't tell their parents because they're afraid of what? Being in trouble. So they won't tell them that they're being abused. This is real. This is going on. And a friend of mine is quitting law enforcement because he says it's hopeless. He says, the only thing that we've really got going for us right now, and the only hope that we really have is church. That's what he said. And he says, so many people, church is not even a thing anymore. You realize that this whole war is going to be between these Satanists that are rising up that are portraying this image of this thing, but behind them there's these groups that are already planting this hatred towards Christians. It's basically a seething pot. It's starting to boil, Emily, if you imagine this.